Now, Vice President Dr. Mohamed Jalloh has assured the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, Karim Khan KC of Sierra Leone's commitment to supporting the aim of the ICC to investigate and prosecute those responsible for grave offences such as genocide and war crimes across the globe. According to the Vice President, the commitment will be manifested through Sierra Leone's 2-year tenure in the UN Security Council. Salifu Cherno Kamara reports.
Following the commencement of the 2-day legacy conference yesterday on Sierra Leone's contributions to the success of the Special Court for Sierra Leone, established over 2 decades ago, prosecutor for the International Criminal Court, Karim Khan KC, paid a courtesy call on Vice President Dr. Mohamed Jalloh. The meeting facilitated a constructive discussion on a wide range of topics aimed at solidifying the nation's commitment to democracy and justice. One of Sierra Leone's priorities in seeking election to the UN Security Council is accountability for atrocity crimes, given Sierra Leone's experience and the nexus between justice and peace. The country is fully committed to this, as emphasized by the Vice President, Dr. Mohamed Jalloh.
Well, thank you very much. We want to assure you of our country's support to your work, to your excellent work you're doing. Now that we're in the Security Council in the next 2 years, you can count on Sierra Leone. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Prosecutor for the International Criminal Court, Karim Khan KC, highlighted that the Special Court for Sierra Leone was a partnership between the country and the United Nations. He underscored Sierra Leone's commitment to the rules-based system, public international law, and the rights of individuals, placing Sierra Leone in a respectable position in the Rome Statute.
The permanent representative of Sierra Leone, Michael Kanu, who is doing such a fantastic job for Sierra Leone in New York. Also, he was recently elected the Vice President of the Assembly of State Parties, the Vice President of 124 states around the world that have come together to say that genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes and aggression must end. There must be justice, there must be fair trials and accountability, so we can move away from the misery we've been seeing in so many parts of the world, the suffering we've seen in so many parts of the world. Sierra Leone is a good friend to international justice. We have had fantastic meetings in September with His Excellency the President, who's out of the country, and I look forward to this partnership getting even stronger, and we show results for people around the world who need the law now more than ever.
Sierra Leone's leadership at the ICC and within the Rome Statute system includes Sierra Leoneans elected or appointed to serve in leadership positions. Justice Miata Maria Samba, the first Sierra Leonean to be elected judge of the International Criminal Court, and Ambassador Dr. Michael Imran Kanu, appointed co-chair of the review mechanism of the International Criminal Court and the Rome Statute system, and vice president of the ICC Assembly of State Parties, among others. Salifu Cherno Kamara, AYV News.
Now, the recent proposal to significantly increase tollgate prices slated to take effect on 1st March 2024 by the government of Sierra Leone has stirred controversy. Dr. Denis Sandi, the Minister of Works and Public Assets, announced the proposed hike, sparking concerns from various quarters. Edmond Abu, the Executive Director of Native Think Tank, has urged the government to consider the increment, reconsidering the prices and how it's going to affect the residents of Freetown. In an exclusive interview on Wake Up Sierra Leone earlier today, Edmond Abu elaborated on the potential impact of the price hike on road users and livelihoods of residents. Our correspondent Isa Bangua put the story together.
The proposed substantial increase in tollgate charges has been met with many dissatisfactory complaints among various sectors of society, including civil society organizations, business owners, drivers and passengers. In an exclusive interview on Wake Up Sierra Leone earlier today, Edmond Abu, the executive director of Native think tank, expressed concerns about the impact of the toll hike on road users and livelihoods, urging the government to review the entire contract.
We are saying they should put a hold onto this thing, review the entire contract. President Bio promised us. And mark you, this was a road, this was a package between, this was a road that it's attached to the Mamama. So if President Bio can put a hold, the government should put a hold into this thing. Look at what we are saying now. That's why I'm giving you the research. Go and ask dual carriage. Tikila, it take the road. Two goes to two goes. How much it costs Fibian? Now, a single or single one that goes to one that used to be supposed to cost between $100,000 to $500,000 with all the beautifications. This road you are seeing is the most expensive road in the history, in modern history. This road.
Victor Idrissa Lansana also elaborated on the human rights implications embedded within the toll gate contract.
The increment definitely would actually affect the economic rights of people. It will affect the right to movement. I mean, for instance, it will mean that people will have to bear the brunt of having more money now to be able to access the roads. It will mean that those who are doing business, it will affect their businesses because there will be an increment. Then it also means that the final consumer will be affected because at the end of the day, the taxi driver, the keke rider, the poda driver who comes from Makeni, from Kenema to bring their goods to Freetown, they will have to increase. I mean, that is the corollary effect, naturally.
Despite these explanations put forward, some citizens are still calling for more transparent engagement regarding the proposed increase in toll gate fees.
Bro, the money is so much. We don't the guys by them. Any day we flying at this toll road. So the big papa government, see how let every people.
Well, I'm not in favor of that because most carry the common player, Peter so goes boost the upline. If they increase the toll rate, things they go there, upline, every Peter go very expensive. Why not for reverse? For reverse backlog will continue for pay the normal price.
Issa Bangura, AYV News, Freetown.
Interpol has embarked on the second phase of combating human trafficking in West Africa, with Sierra Leone being part of the 5 countries to benefit from this project. A specialized training has been conducted with representatives from the law enforcement and judiciary sectors in the country. Interpol Human Trafficking and Smuggling of Migrants Unit Coordinator Adamu Liman Yahaya says the training is an opportunity for participants to expand their knowledge, refine their skills, and to become more effective in their roles as a law enforcement sector. Edima Conte has more.
In 2005, 3 years after the end of the Civil War, which cost more than 50,000 lives and set the ground to human trafficking networks, Sierra Leone passed the Anti-Human Trafficking Act, thus recognizing the phenomenon as a major national issue. A national task force on human trafficking was established with the responsibility to coordinate the implementation of this act, especially with regards to the enforcement of the law against trafficking. With trafficking in human beings being a fast-growing form of crime, Interpol Human Trafficking and Smuggling of Migrants Unit has initiated a national training course to combat human trafficking in West Africa.
This project is implemented by Interpol through Human Trafficking and Smuggling of Migrant Unit. The first phase of the following project was done with 4 beneficiary countries, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, and Togo, with a set of activities to combat human trafficking and smuggling of migrants. Regarding the positive result of the first phase and the need to support countries in all efforts to combat the crimes, INL decided to extend the project to 5 new countries: Cote d'Ivoire, Gambia, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Senegal. Today's training session is an opportunity for you to expand your knowledge, refine your skills, and ultimately become even more effective in your roles. Be sure that Interpol will continue to help its member countries to provide more appropriate responses, starting with strengthening interinstitutional collaboration and international police cooperation with the purpose of information sharing, dismantling criminal networks, identifying and assisting victims.
Director of Crime Services, Sierra Leone Police, Joseph Ibrahim Lahai, says West Africa is a key spot for human trafficking activities and should be treated as an international issue.
The thing I actually play in my mind is human trafficking. These are offenses that are not limited to particular sovereign states or particular areas of interest. When a human trafficking offense is perpetrated here, it can have an overhauling effect abroad. Why West Africa as a key spot for human trafficking in Africa, to be specific. If we don't treat human trafficking as an international issue, it's going to be a big problem. So please, pay attention to this international code. This is an international code. You will not know some of these causes, the essence of some of these causes, until one day you are called upon to say something about what human trafficking is. And as a police officer, you are expected to know a lot.
Human trafficking is a global problem and one of the world's most shameful crimes, affecting the lives of millions of people around the world and robbing them of their dignity. Edima Conte, AYV News, Freetown.
Now, in remote Bubuya village in Kambia district, residents are facing significant challenges due to the absence of basic amenities such as hospitals, clean water, electricity and security posts, among others. Now, during a recent visit to the village, stakeholders and individuals shared their stories on the harsh realities they confronted with on a daily basis. Our reporter Miriam Amaria Bangura engaged them and she now reports.
Some resident in Bubuya village in Kambia district has said that the lack of nearby hospital, scarcity of clean water, electricity and security posts are amongst the pressing issues they are struggling with in the village. For the Kamara, an elder of the community says they have limited access to medical equipment, noting that the only medical center they have was a house building they converted to hospital.
As an elder of the town, I want to make two appeals then to government and to any NGO. First of all, your health center now per host with the use. This time now, if na health center day, we get small equipment, like then kind of occasion then now they pick up quick, you make them. But the health center over there, in Mona, if you look at them, now honor the host was in the use. Then so yeah, the nurse what they say now, they call the in charge nursing. But if you get like then dispenser now, a big term, you get dispenser. Where the dispenser understand more past the nurse. So anything they happen, then go they educate me. So now one aspect of the health center. The other one, if not chance, Papa government let them bring now police post. You see, because when person want make like say want disobey the law, when they take you to the policeman, they make them.
Amadou Toure, a resident of this community, emphasized the urgent need for government intervention to address these pressing issues.
As you see, we get pump them around, we get up and down, but most of the pump that we get now are not well. As you even this recently they make them, and the pump that we get are not well, and the water we get now is not too good for use. They're not the chemical for the water. So you see, we will make them fine for use. So therefore, this is not a big problem for us. Where we get some disease, because if the water get chemical and so on, we're able to kill the germs the way they contaminate them. So you see now that.
As the voices of the residents in this remote village echoes their struggles, there is a call for action for authorities to prioritize the needs of marginalized communities and work towards sustainable solutions that will improve the quality of life for all residents in Sierra Leone. Miriam Amaria Bangura, AYV News, Freetown.
Motor Drivers Union and some CSOs have pleaded with Parliament to review the toll fee proposed by CRSG, considering the effects it will have on the masses. They made this plea during a consultative meeting held by Parliament with the Ministry of Works and Public Assets, SLRA, SLRSA, CRSG and the Attorney General's Office with also the Motor Drivers Union and other CSOs, including the media, looking into the issues surrounding the proposed toll-free. Now, the meeting seeks for the engagement with various parties involved and affected so as to find a common ground. Samuel Tunisoya reports.
An August gathering composing of various stakeholders in the legislature, the executive arm, CSOs, Motor Drivers Union, media, and the citizenry. The population in the room tells the significance of the topic being discussed, the increment in toll fee. And Speaker Bundu, the presider of the meeting, says it is very important to listen to the concerns of all.
And we've taken upon ourselves in Parliament, as a listening Parliament, to call the stakeholders meeting, to continue the process of listening to the various stakeholders involved, to listen to your interests, your concerns about this important issue.
Opening the discussion, the concessionee puts forward their submission on what triggered the increment.
According to clause 10.4, the toll tariff shall be adjusted based on the data, subject to a review by both parties whenever the exchange rate varies by 10%.
Having put forward this point, Speaker Bundu says it will be also better for him to shed light on the traffic data.
Since the beginning, the construction and tolling of this road, we have been submitting the reports which contains all the information, which includes the traffic data, the construction progress, the maintenance progress, the operation status, on a regular basis to the government authority, the Leone Roads Authority.
Minister Sandi explained some of the provision in the agreement that makes valid the move of the concessionee.
10.4 revisions to the highway tolls. Please, the toll tariff shall be adjusted, subject to a review on the base traffic data. The concessionee, which is the CRSG, shall not be obliged, I repeat, shall not be obliged to disclose any documents.
The nature of the business in the room speaks of intense national concerns with urgent attention to assuage the prevalent burden and challenge on the citizens. Being a consultative dialogue, Speaker Bundu invited some of the stakeholders to voice their concerns.
So we say that 700,000 per day we multiply it too much. We want again, make this parliament look at the entire and different. Make them separate the entire from the trailer.
Speaker, I speak on behalf of the public. And I want to know, say, firstly, the native constitution and the public diametrically oppose the proposed increment because it kills it. And it adds another untold suffering on the people. Now fast forward we can. As a matter of fact, against a pass-through effect on every commodity in the market if you increase the gold price. Article 16.3 of the very agreement, we talk about the independent auditor's report will determine the gross daily revenue annually or whatever.
Out of the $165 million we can cost of the project, we don't know how much of the inside out of the 8 years we don't collect, and left for 19 years. So in these 19 years, what's the money we don't cut inside, what's not left for recover and cost we involved, we want to follow we go into these increments.
The public get contention with now go 5. I want to be very honest. In the first place, I've been meeting drivers union them after the engagement with the minister. They tell me they make a beautiful proposal to the minister. That's group 5, we forget different categories them.
Director General at SLRSA, Engineer Jalloh, responding to questions on the reception of tariff data, says,
at the SLRA, of course, data has been coming in the form of reports, as stated. In the form of reports, as stated. But what we would like to say is, we think the data is not comprehensive enough. Because it comes in different forms and sometimes very irregularly. And then we should be able to access the very raw data. That way, we will easily be able to scientifically inform any such judgment.
The toll agreement is one thing that has brought about tough times for the government. However, Speaker Bondo encourages Hall to note that these presentations are just proposals and that Parliament will look out for the interests of the people while also protecting the investors. Samuel Tony Sawyer, AYV News, Free.